Greetings. We're continuing our Common Sense Theology series with a look at the fourth commandment today. There's a little split between the third and the fourth commandment. The first three commandments are our relationship with God. It's what we do with God, how He deals with us. And then the second part of the 10 commandments from the fourth commandment on is our relationship with everybody else. Jesus says, talks about the golden rule. Yeah? Love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. That's the first three commandments. And then he says the second is as the first, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So now we're going to get into do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now the fourth commandment is this: honor your father and your mother. Your father and your mother were put here by God to be His representatives on earth. Now, I do know that there are some parents that are not good parents, but for the most part, parents are here and were placed here by God, and we need to obey them, and they need to also teach us God's ways. They need to teach us how to live as people who love God, who follow God. They are to be our examples, but we are also to honor them. We are to place them in a high esteem. And we are not to be vulgar to them. We are not to not listen. We are to pay attention to what our parents say, because it's very important for our upbringing. Now, added into this is also all authority. Our parents are the primary authority within our lives for the first many years. Again, they are our examples of what God desires us to be. But also, we are to pay attention and to listen to all authority. We have a problem in our society today, and it comes from people who are not willing to pay attention and obey authority. Authorities have been placed here by God also, and this is part of this commandment: obey your father and your mother. Just as you obey your father and your mother, you should obey your grandparents, and on down the line. You should also pay attention to your school teachers. You are not there to disrupt the class. You are there to learn, and your school teachers are there to help you. We are not to infringe upon their class. We are to obey them and do what is right. Coaches, preachers, police officers, firefighters, community leaders, they are here for us to listen to, and also as a way for us to grow in God. They're placed here not just for us to totally listen to everything they say. I know there are bad leaders, but God has placed them in our lives to help us, for us to grow, for us to be everything that He wants. And much of our societal problems are caused because we are not willing to obey or listen to authority. As a matter of fact, you cannot be a good leader unless you're willing to be a good follower to begin with. Everybody needs to follow somebody at some point in their lives. Starts with father and mother, then goes on to others in our lives. Again, we are not here to be disrespectful. We should respect all authority. There are ways, if the authority is not correct and doesn't do the right thing, there are ways to address that. But we are to obey authority. There is much upheaval in our nation today because no one wants to obey authority, and we see it constantly. If a police officer gives you a command, obey the police officer. Because 99 times out of 100, if you do what the police officer tells you, things are going to be just fine. And if they do act wrong towards you, you do have a way to address that at a different point. But we need to obey authority. It was placed here by God. God desires us to listen, to obey, and also to grow in Him. And this is why these people were placed in our lives, to help us throughout each and every part of our lives. We do pray today that God would bless you, He would keep you, He would help you through each and every moment. And I pray today that you would obey and honor your father and your mother. And God gives us a promise of that our days might be long upon the earth. And I pray your days might be long upon the earth, that you might listen and obey to all authority. And we do also ask that if you have questions, you can please comment on the Facebook page here. You can send us a note at the church on our website, and all those things will come up later. Thank you, and God bless, and we hope you have a wonderful remainder of the day. Amen.